Hi, this is Christine and welcome to Scrap and Rabbit. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make these cute little accordion folders. And I have a little journal inside of this one. And in this one, because my paper is baking themed, I just cut some little recipe index cards to stick in there. Now there are a lot of tutorials on YouTube that show you how to make the boxes, but I'm going to give you the dimensions to make this size, and I'll take you through step by step as I make one. I do have some kits in my Etsy shop that include all of the pre-cut pieces and scored pieces to make the accordion folder, as well as the journal covers inside and the little signature covers. So for starters, let me just show you this in more detail. I just punched a little border around here, and I have this little flower that I attached to the front, and this is an elastic closure, and I have a little post here that ties around. I'll show you how to make that. It's really easy. And it's got the accordion sides and the inside for the little journal. It's just tied with the ribbon. And it has a little fold out on the front and the back where you can put pictures. This is two-sided. Some of the ones in my kits are single-sided, so you can journal on the back. And then on the inside, I have these pages that I inserted, and I stitched these inside. So these are really quick to make, and they're great if you're going to a craft fair or if you need a last-minute gift. You can whip these up in no time. I'll tie that later. Okay, so to start, to make the base of the box, this is a cardstock that I used. I got this at Michael's, and I buy it whenever it's on sale. It's the Recollections. This is a 110-pound cardstock. It's quite heavy, and I like it because it's nice and stiff. You can probably use a lighter cardstock too, and it would work fine, but I like the thickness and the sturdiness of this one. So that's the type of cardstock I used, and I'm going to cut this piece. I have it in black. So I'm going to start by cutting my cardstock. Now this little folder measures 5 inches across and it's 3.5 inches high, and it's about 1 inch. Yeah, it's 1 inch across. The little journal measures 4.5 inches by 3.25, and it's 3/4 inches wide so that it fits inside the folder. So I'm going to start by cutting my paper. Now you only need 1 sheet of the cardstock to make the accordion folder, the covers, and as well as the cover inside of the for the mini album. So I'm going to place my cardstock on the 8.5 inch side, and I score down at 5 inches. I trim at 5 inches. Now don't get rid of this, because this is going to be the cover for the journal, and this is going to measure 3.25 inches wide by 9.75 inches wide. Next, I'm going to score my pieces. So I'm going to start with the folder, And I place this on my scoreboard. Along the 11-inch side, and I score at 3.5 inches, at 4.5 inches, at 8 inches, and at 9 inches. So this narrower edge is the piece that's going to fold forward here. So if you want to, you can go ahead and trim a decorative border on here. Meanwhile, I'm going to score my album cover or my journal cover, and on the 9 3/4 inch side I score at 4.5 and at 5 1/4. And that's going to give me that 3/4 inch spine when I fold that like that. So this is the cover for the journal or mini album. Now I'm going to use the piece that's in this kit because I've already got my edge trimmed, and I folded along the score lines like that, and that forms the outside of the folder. Next, I'm going to add the little accordion section on the sides. But before I do that, I think it's easier if I mat my pieces right now. And again, I'm going to use this kit because everything is already pre-cut and ready to go. So I'm going to start with my front border. I'll just take this out of here, and this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to put this paper here, and then this will be the front like that. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue around the edge. And when you cut your matting paper, if you're making this one from scratch, you leave a little border around so that the black shows. It makes a nice contrast when you're matting. Next, I'm going to place my front piece. If you have a pattern on your front piece, make sure you don't put it upside down. Okay, when it closes like that, so you're going to want to make sure that the front piece faces up. There's no direction on this pattern, so it's not an issue. But for example, if I had some flowers on here, I want to make sure that it's not going to be upside down when I close the accordion folder. I just center that over the front section. And then I'm going to put my top piece. And then finally the back piece. And again, you want to make sure that if there's a direction to your paper, you put it in the proper direction. These roses are all over the place, so it's not an issue. Now I didn't put matting on the bottom. You can do that if you like, but I just left it plain. So next I'm going to put my little accordion sides, and to make this I cut a piece of cardstock or scrapbook paper, thick scrapbook paper, and it measures 2.5 inches wide by 2 3/4 inches high. And when I scored this, I placed it on my scoreboard along the 2.5 inch side at the top, and I scored at every 1/4 inch to form the score lines. And I'm going to fold this and I'm going to use my bone folder as I go. You make 2 of these pieces, 1 for each side. Like that. I'm going to make my other one. Everything in the kit is already pre-scored, so it saves time. Okay. So I'm going to start by putting a little bit of glue along one edge. Now the piece that folds in like that is going to go just along the edge of the folder. And it's going to be lined up with the inside bottom. do the same thing on the other side. Now I'm going to let this dry for a few minutes. So now I put glue at the other end, and I'm just going to do one at a time. This is where it's a little bit trickier. You're going to close the folder like that and try to line this up with the very edge on the inside cover, or on the back cover, like that. And I'm going to hold this in position just for a few minutes so that it dries. Or just a few seconds. This is the tacky glue that I'm using, and it dries pretty quickly. You can also use two-sided tape, but I think glue is nice and strong, especially when you're putting these accordion sides on. Okay, so now I'm going to carefully put some glue on the other side. And I'm going to insert that in there, and again try and line it up with the edge of the cover of the folder. Like that. So I'm going to let this dry a little bit more. So I'm going to make the closure for my accordion folder, and these are the pieces that I'm going to use. I have this little flower, and I'm gonna just untie this because that's where my little eyelet is, and I use that to make the post that the cord or the elastic will wrap around. And this is really easy to do. I just take this brad, where it's a large fastener, and I just insert it through the eyelet like that. If you need to, you can squeeze the pins so that they meet in the middle, and then this will fit in nicely. Like that. So I'm going to punch a little hole where I want my fastener to go. I'm going to center this here, like that, and just use a sharp tool to punch a hole in there. And then I can insert my brad and open it on the inside. Like that. So if you want to, you can cover the inside with a little piece of paper if you like. But I'm just going to leave that like that for now. And next I'm going to attach my elastic. So I can judge approximately where I want this to go. I'm going to tie a knot here and then my flower is going to cover the knot area. So I'm going to just tie a knot on here. That's good like that. And I'm going to use my stapler to attach that on there. Again, I'm going to position that so it's in the center. And I'm going to staple in front of my knot, and then again just behind the knot, right in the middle. So that holds it in place. Next, I'm going to take my flower, and I've got my hot glue gun warmed up, and I'm going to use that to attach the flower. I can shape this up a little bit. And also I can either leave this sticking out like that, it's kind of cute, or I can trim the ends off if I don't want the ends of the elastic to be visible. I'm just going to leave them like that. So in the kit, I also included an extra piece to hide the staples. So I'm just going to glue that on the inside. And here is my completed accordion folder box. So now if you wanted to, you could take just some recipe cards and trim them down to size and include them in there if you wanted to make a little recipe gift box. But I'm going to make the journal,